Hi. Have you heard that a certain part of the Belarusians live on the far side of the moon? This is what one of the most unusual Belarusian artists, Jazep Drazdovič, used to say in his lectures in the 1930s. Every night, as he fell asleep, he made astral travels through space, and when he woke up, he would write down and sketch what he saw. The moon was Drazdovich's favorite planet. He saw plants on it, with leaves, like the tops of our beet, dark green, reddish. And the shape of the leaf is like our horseradish. Also, in the fortress of 3 Towers, and the city of arts, Artopolis, there lived intelligent creatures who were similar to people, but hairless, flat-faced, with small eyes, and long wedge-shaped jaws. Jazep Drazdovič described the first flight to the moon, as well. The expedition will consist of 15 people, dressed in black suits, and red berets. They will definitely need to bring antiseptics, a radio transmitter, and, of course, a hen with a nest for food. The idea of traveling to the moon has fascinated people since ancient times. In the 2nd century AD, the Greek writer Antonius Diogenes wrote a novel about a voyage to the legendary island of Thule. In the ancient world, Thule was considered to be the northern boundary of the world. Since then, the Latin expression, Ultima Thule, has been known. It means, the edge of the world. The limit of what is known to people. This is the first known literary description of a journey to the moon. The hero gets there on foot by walking to the northward from Thule. In Lucian of Samosata's True History, a whirlwind lifts travelers' ships into the air, and delivers them to the moon. In the 10th century, the tale of the bamboo cutter was written in Japan. It tells how an old bamboo cutter once found a tiny baby girl in a stalk. He took her home and adopted her. From then on, whenever the old man went to cut bamboo, he always found gold coins in the stalk. Kaguya, as the girl was named, grew up to be a remarkable beauty. Wealthy suitors from all over the country, including the emperor himself, wooed her, but she refused them all. One day, unknown heavenly beings descended from the sky on clouds, in a chariot with a roof, made of the finest silk. They said that Kaguya had been born on the moon, and must now return to her home. The girl wished to remain on the earth, but the heavenly messengers gave her the elixir of immortality, and dressed her in a robe, made of bird feathers. After that, all human attachments faded within her. Before leaving for the moon, Kaguya wrote a letter to the emperor, and gave him the elixir of immortality. Having read the letter, the emperor sent his warriors to the highest mountain, and ordered them to burn the note and the elixir, at its summit. Since then, this mountain has been called the Mountain of Immortality, Mount Fuji, or Fujiyama. 1,000 years later, the Japanese named the artificial moon, it means, the unmanned interplanetary station that they launched in 2007, Kaguya. The eminent astronomer and mathematician, Johannes Kepler, the discoverer of the laws of planetary motion in the solar system, was also fascinated by the moon. In 1608, he wrote the novel, titled The Dream, which was published in 1634. It tells the story of an Icelandic boy, his witch mother, and demons, who can transport people to the moon. In order to survive such a journey, people must be put to sleep, protected from the extreme cold, and slowed, as they approach the moon, so as to avoid crashing on landing. At the end of the novel, Kepler awakens. In addition to this fantastical tale, the book contains a lot of scientific information, and is considered to be the first scientific treatise on lunar astronomy. In 1638, the science fiction book, The Man in the Moon, was published. It is about the adventures of a Spaniard, named Gonsales, who invents a device to harness wild swans and fly. During one flight, his birds soar higher, and after 12 days, they reach the moon. There, Gonzales encounters lunar inhabitants, tall people, who are Christians. The novel was written by the English priest and writer, Francis Godwin, and is notable for being the first book to introduce the concept of weightlessness.
What is it?
Weightlessness is a state, in which a body's weight is zero, and it can float freely, as demonstrated by cats, in experiments, conducted in 1947. Thus, for almost 1,500 years, people have fantasized about reaching the moon, with the help of whirlwinds, demons, or birds. In the middle of the 17th century, a more realistic idea of flights emerged, with the use of a jet engine. It was described in the Dilogy, The Other World, The States and Empires of the Moon, and The States and Empires of the Sun, by the French guardsman, philosopher, and writer, Cyrano de Bergerac. The hero of this work developed a flying machine, consisting of a box, with openings at both ends, and glass for focusing sunlight. The air, which was heated by the light, exited one nozzle, and was replenished through the other. On the moon, intelligent beings with 4 legs and musical voices lived. They had a super weapon, capable of cooking game for dinner, while firing. Let's talk a little bit about the inhabitants of the moon. In August 1835, the New York-based newspaper, titled The Sun, published 6 essays about lunar life and civilization, discovered by the then-famous astronomer John Herschel. Using a powerful telescope that he had invented, the scientist spotted seas, volcanoes, forests, animals and birds, as well as cities and temples, on the moon. They were built by intelligent beings, who turned out to be bipedal beavers and man-bats. The publication caused an unprecedented stir. The newspaper's circulation skyrocketed. Scientists and the educated public discussed the implication of this discovery for humanity. Meanwhile, John Herschel was conducting astronomical observations at the Cape of Good Hope, in South Africa, primarily observing Halley's Comet, not the Moon. Can you imagine his surprise, when the astronomer learned of his discovery? This newspaper publication was later dubbed the Great Moon Hoax. The most famous novel about a journey to the moon, was written by the French writer, Jules Verne, From the Earth to the Moon. A direct route in 97 hours, 20 minutes. It was published in 1865. The hero of this novel builds a cannon, that launches a rocket-shaped train, carrying 3 astronauts, to the moon. Much of what Jules Verne described has found practical application in modern space technology. In the novel, the cannon, which was used to send people to the moon, was built in Florida. Today, Florida is home to the spaceport, which the lunar trips were launched from, in the 20th century. It is interesting, that the first image of a space suit, also appeared in science fiction literature, in the story titled A Honeymoon in Space, by the British author, George Griffith, the plot of which unravels on the moon. It is no surprise, that the first science fiction movie in history, is dedicated to a journey to the moon. It was filmed in 1902, by the French director, Georges Méliès. The moment, when the projectile lands directly on the moon's eye, remains one of the most iconic and frequently referenced shots, in cinematic history.
Why is the moon depicted as a human face?
That is an interesting question. In conclusion, I will tell you a little bit about the Moon Man, and the moon hare. People saw them, as dark and light spots, on the moon's surface, during a full moon, and invented various stories, about how the man, or the hare, could have got there. For example, Jewish legends claim, that it was a man, who was caught collecting firewood, on the Sabbath, when God forbids work, and exiled to the moon, for it. The Chinese believed, that the goddess, China, was cast onto the moon, after foolishly drinking a double dose of an immortality potion. The goddess is accompanied by Utu, the moon hare, who helps her prepare the potion of immortality. The ancient inhabitants of Central America, the Aztecs, said that when the sun, and the moon, were created, they shone equally brightly. This displeased the gods, so they threw a hare at the moon, in order to dim her light. There are so many fantastic and real, yet no less interesting, stories about the moon, that it is impossible, to cover them all, in one short video. However, you can read the works, that I have mentioned, by following the links in the description. Read them, and be amazed once again, by the richness of creative imagination, and the human ability to think far beyond Ultima Thule. Lastly, I want to thank my best friend, Artificial Intelligence, that created some of the pictures for this short story. As well as Wikipedia, an inexhaustible source of information about everything in the world.